Yeah, a bit of an. I'll get his camera up. Yeah, a bit of an impromptu one. This one. Gonna do a rando one today. Do a wing it show because I'm not very professional. No, not really. Because no, I've had a late break for Christmas because been really busy. I was like, did some running up till Christmas, and then yeah, I want to make sure I've got my stuff done this year. Everything I need to do so I can kind of hit the ground running. I've got big plans, so I thought I'm not really a. I suppose I do make speculate on the future, but I'm not. I'm not trying to do a prediction thing for the year. Apart from, I want to predict what's going to happen with the show for the year and what my plans are. And yeah, so I thought I'd share that with the listeners today, a bit about me and what we've got planning next. I've got something coming up. Want some announce some things. I was going to take a break today. I checked my daily tarots, do the astrology stuff with Gregory Scott. Follow Gregory Scott. Check him out on YouTube, on TikTok as well. He does daily tarot readings, weekly ones, and he does when the moon changes. He's got some. He does some live ones as well, so you can ask a question. You know, you can get a quick reading, quick, and yeah, I followed Gregory Scott for a while. Yeah, and so I've had enough time to really verify whether it seems to pan out. A bit like I used to do with Alex when I first come across Alex Jones, man. Oh my god, I was checking everything because I thought this guy's got to be crazy. But I did it for about 7 months straight, maybe 9 months, and I found all the documents he presented. I read it all of it, and I was like, wow, they're all sourcing from. So anyway, I like check things out for myself. So with this, with the astrologer, with Gregory Scott, I've been following them for 2 years, and they seem to pan out. So I don't know. But yeah, so I'm following that, and it said take a break today. Have a bit of a break. So I wasn't going to do a show today. But I thought, screw it, because I did have I fell asleep earlier. So I kind of did have a break. So yeah, my story is, plans are, I had a bit of a tough time over the last couple of weeks, actually. One of my mates, one of the listeners, actually, or a friend as well, more friend first than listener. But I've got a friend, Jay, yeah, he helped me out, and friend Ali as well. Both helped me out in different ways over the last couple of weeks. I was having a tough time, a real tough time. I was struggling with, the old money and stuff hitting us all hard. Economy, we'll get to that. But yeah, so a couple of friends helped me out recently. I was struggling, but this one particular day, I was just so hurting, so bad. I felt like I was under attack, right? And I've been thinking that. I feel like I've been under attack for a couple of weeks, and I thought, well, I'm processing things, and I've had a lot of reflection time over the last couple of years for everyone. I've been actively taking part in therapy, until recently. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, I'm thinking about stuff. Maybe stuff's coming up, but no, I was in a bad way, a really bad way, and it didn't seem right. And the same day, it was the really baddest. I was like, I can't look at the world. I can't take any more badness in. But I got a notification from other friend, Michael Strange, Troubled Minds Radio, and the notification was about he's doing a show today, and his show was trauma, yeah, and demonic attack. Right. And my problems in life have come through trauma and sketchy family stuff, which is, it's a bit of a case study, a bit of a tragic story. It's not all about here's a mean person. It's never that simple. It's usually victims become something else and get things twisted up, end up being abusers, that kind of stuff. Anyway, so, but that, I thought of all the days for Michael to do a show about trauma and being attacked, like demonic attack, and it talked about, psychology before and people being hurt and by stuff and Jedi mind tricks, psyops. He's mentioned that before, and he's done shows about demons before, but I don't think he's done that specifically. Are they trying to get you when you're traumatized, kind of thing, or does it attract it? So I thought that was an interesting synchronicity, considering I think that's what was happening, and because I think it would happen. you know, if there's demons out there and you're going to feed on people, best to do it when they're weak. I would think. That's what bullies do, isn't it? Prey on the weak. That's what wolves do, because it's just easier. They're hungry. They've been travelling for days or weeks. That's where the term wolf it down comes from. It means to eat fast. Oh, wolf that down. No, it means wolf it. The wolf. The wolf can eat like I think 3 times its body weight in one sitting in one meal. Whoa! Because it needs to. Because sometimes they go for weeks tracking caribou, tracking gazelles, and they've got to find the flock, got to find the herd where it's migrating to. So sometimes it takes them ages, and they're just so hungry. So by the time they see one, they see the bunch of them. They're like, man, can't afford to scare these people off. So they sit and wait and wait. Really, they're hungry as well. You ever say that they're hungry like you don't know hunger? But then they see the food, but they're gonna wait carefully and observe them all and see who's the weakest and watch the patterns and try and sneak close to where they are, to where the weakest ones are near the back, and then they're gonna make the move, and it's like a one-shot deal kind of thing. But so they go for that's nature. So that's what I'm saying. So if there's going to be demon attacks, that's what you're going to do, I suppose. But yeah, so a little segue there. It gets a bit deep, but it's this stuff's to be considered because there's any chance of it, and that's why I always think you should empower yourself with knowledge. Same with liars; they're preying on people that don't know something, people that want to manipulate you. They can only do it if you don't know the thing. You understand? They come and lie to you about something, but you know all about that stuff. Then you can break down everything that's said and why it's BS. It disempowers them straight away. That's why knowledge is power. But being able to apply it as well. It's like knowing you have such a thing as rights is great, brilliant. But what are they? Because if you can't say what they are, you can't cite them. You can't, use them as tools. You can't say, hey, no, official person, it actually says this. Otherwise, they're just going to do what you're told. Now, you need to know your rights, don't you? You need to know what you can do. You need to know what your power is. You need to know what your tools are. Yeah? So, segueing back into that, I'll get on with talking my plans and what's been going on, but segueing back into that or being attacked and stuff, kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? Who do you choose to attack? You attack, like in the wolf situation, the weak because it's easier, because you're hungry to eat them, to feed on them. But also, I wonder, people get attacked politically, don't they? And that's not to eat them, that's to stop them because they're a problem, because they're a threat for some reason. Somebody's decided they're a threat. So, I think sometimes, if you get attacked, it's almost like a compliment, isn't it? I wonder. I don't know. Just speculating. See what you think. You can always comment. I might not see it, but at least you said it, and other people will. Anyway, yeah. So, plans this week. Been real busy because I got lucky. Another thing, astrology. I'm going to talk about a little astrology bit in a minute. Because I've got an astrology show coming up tomorrow, and I'm going to get one of my friends on, Ali, that I mentioned earlier, emotional support, a buddy of mine. So she's going to come on the show tomorrow, because the way it works out with the schedule, she can fit it in around work. So yay! So we'll be blessed with a guest tomorrow, and so I'm lucky with that, which is the astrology thing, because Jupiter is my ruling planet, because I'm a Sagittarius. I'm very lucky. And I've been really busy this week, so I was going to take that day off today because of the astrology. Because I'm lucky. Jupiter is my planet, and Jupiter's an expansive planet. It's big. So I'm very, very lucky, and I'm known for it. I'm ridiculously lucky. And recently, I've been thinking about summer's coming now. I've been trying to build my allotment garden, ready to do a channel. I wanted to build a studio there to do the podcast from there. Been thinking about it a lot, planning it. And I've got patience. And I don't mind carrying things a long way. And I've got a wheelbarrow. So any door, and I'm always looking for stuff. Like a magpie, a womble. Usable things, and I'm creative. So anyway, I'm always looking. And I came across 160 bricks, all nice and cleaned and good. London bricks. From this company from back in the day, it's kind of well known. Two smooth faces and 2 rough faces on the brick, so you can have them how you want. Anyway, so get all these bricks, get some more. We had a few extra that hadn't been cleaned. I had a bit of a kerfuffle trying to get them delivered there, but it's got it sorted. So I ended up with these bricks. I got a load of half a pallet of bricks. I was like, great, I could start doing a studio. It's looking good. And then I found, some roofing and stuff that's like for a really cheap price. And then I know this other guy that's got some, but he's lost his stock at the minute in some legal kerfuffle, but he will be getting it eventually. So I got these plans. And then, so I did a show earlier, a couple of shows ago. I did that bit of an archaeology show where I found some stuff in my allotment plot, some foundations from the original back in the kind of, Victorian days or whatever they built it. So we got the oldest allotment gardens in the country in England. Right, it's 18th century or maybe 17th. Maybe old. Some of them are from like the 1600s. They're old, So yeah, so I wanted to build a studio. Got a load of free bricks. Got this light for roofing. So I'm building stuff at the minute. So I did a show where I found these foundations. So I'm going to try and build this thing for the show where we can have a studio from there. Because you get mobile internet these days. I can get power on there. I've got a solar panel on there. A bit of a temporary solar situation. But it's working really well. I didn't think it was charging up that great. But then I realised I had the inverter set to turn off every half an hour. The whole system to turn off every half an hour so you don't waste inverter time, because I used to have this heater on, whatever. But anyway, so I realised that. So I told it to stop switching itself off because I realised it was taking in loads of solar, and I was getting like 72 watts at one point from a 100 watt panel in England, and I was like, oh great, and it just kept turning off. I thought it was broke, but then I realised no, I've set it to keep powering down. So I thought that's why it's not charging as fast as I thought. And then I bloody realised that the readout considers 98%. When it's 100% full, the readout only shows you 98. It holds a bit back for some reason, so I thought it wasn't charging, but it was. But anyway, so yeah, got solar, got all these bricks, about 200 of them, just shy of half a pallet. But then now I've found these bricks and I had this big mission and kerfuffle to try and do it, because I got let down last minute with a van, and the guy was going to give them someone else. So I had to hustle another van driver, quit, pay over the odds. But since I did that, talking about the luckiness, Jupiter, I got offered a free acoustic guitar. It's a couple of miles away. I thought, I'll walk with acoustic guitar, better than going on your bicycle. And I seen not one, but 3 piles of bricks along the way in people's gardens, clearly just thrown out there. And I thought, I'm going to go and knock on them doors. And it just so happens that route is very flat. And I got a wheelbarrow, and it's only the next estate away. It's only like the next block. So it's like, wee, they're close. So now I've been started thinking about bricks. I've got a big haul of nearly 200 straight away. And then I know there's some on the other side of the city. It's a bit tough to get to. But then 3 piles nearby, just like that, as soon as I'm thinking of bricks. I'm known for this. Somebody asked me to get him a shower screen, which they've just given me for my allotment plot, actually. They never used it, but it was last year. But they asked me, and I literally walked past one 3 days later where the guy was literally bringing it out, about to put it in a skip. How lucky is that? I'm just known for this stuff. I remember that same person, actually, she ran out of her cigarettes, and she didn't want to spend any money. She was trying to be tight with a budget. And she's like, if anywhere there was some on the ground, I just need a couple, And I was like, just keep your eyes out and be positive. You might just find 3 cigarettes in an empty packet on the floor. And she's like, yeah, whatever. And I said, no, be positive, honestly, because she's been a Debbie Downer about it. 10 minutes later, walking along the shop front, she sees a box, starts kicking it on the floor, puts a foot on it, 3 cigarettes in it. Oh, man, I felt so smug, I got to tell you. Like, yeah. See? Oh, glory. That was my 15 minutes of fame, that was. It was only her there, but I know it happened. So yeah, I'm lucky, right? Stay positive. If you feel like getting attacked, I felt like I was on some kind of demonic attack and my days were numbered. But now, I've had loads of good fortune and luck. Yeah? And it's still rolling on. It's like a trial. And the same happens when you try and practice things. Trying to learn the guitar, learn the piano, learn how to scratch on the decks. When you're trying to learn to kick a football and curve it around the wall so you can beat the keeper and get it in the top corner. trying to master just hitting it out of the park. You know, you got your baseball swing, your golf swing. Get your hip forward. Put your hip forward first, and your swing will snap in. You know, practice it. Muscle memory. There comes frustrating points where it feels like you're under attack. I can stop you from finding the gold. But if you get past it and pull it off just one time, you've proved to yourself and to all of reality that it can be done. And once you prove something it can be done in your own experience, it's in your experience forever. So you've only got to do it once. Anything you want to do, you've only got to pull it off once. And then you know it's doable. It's like Neo in the Matrix. So that's, I suppose, my message at the start of this is like, hey, you know, no matter how much negativity is coming in, don't forget, when you take a candle into a completely dark room, yeah, take that light in, what happens? The darkness scatters, doesn't it? Hides in the recesses. It's like it's just naturally stronger. You don't see light like going, getting a bit weaker and going, it's like losing the battle and then fighting back again. Oh no, back into the dark, back. No, it just does its thing, not bothered, and it's the darkness that's the like. That's how I like to think of it as a metaphor, anyway. Anyway, plans. I'm going to try and build this studio. Find these bricks. Find some more foundations. So I'm going to get rid of some stuff and do all this and try and get this studio done. So it looks like that's going to do great going forward. I'm really lucky. I'm finding bricks. I'm finding screens. I'm finding roofing. My buddy Jay from New York, you know, has been a supportive character. He's got me onto this idea of building a sunken greenhouse as well, which is a really amazing plan. We're going to look at that. And then I'm looking to review to go into America next year as well, so perhaps in the autumn. So I'm going to try and, I wasn't doing the station this year. I'm going to keep building this allotment garden. I'm going to start putting up video for that now, start a allotment garden channel, just as like a beginner thing, just everyday average Joe kind of, don't know what I'm doing, tried this worked great, this worked crap, sort of thing. but I'm going to make it look nice. It's starting to look good. So I have an allotment channel to encourage people to grow food, self-empowerment, getting your hands in nature. There's different frequencies in nature. It does help you out. It does. It's known, you know, especially if you get your hands in the dirt, you're kind of earthing yourself. You know, people say, "Oh, get your feet on the grass," you know, bare feet, and it does. It earths you. So it helps you. And we've got all these, you know, like got Wi-Fi signals and radio waves and Bluetooth. You know, who knows how it's affecting us. I mean, you can look into that yourself. There is going to be some effects, and of course, there's always this, you know, debate about whether high voltage power, you know, there's high tension power lines are the cancer causing. That's been a thing for decades, you know. So, but when you get in nature, you feel good, don't you? So there's definitely something to it, and I think there's some science behind the old nature frequencies. So yeah, getting out there and encouraging people to grow, I think especially seems poignant these days with the economic issues. And it's like, how can you have food shortages when food is so cheap to make? You grow it, you put seeds in the ground, water, grow. We've industrialized this stuff thousands of years ago. How does it get expensive? And it's not. The food's not expensive. It's the way the logistics are set up and all the little rules and things in the way to make that more expensive, to then make the delivery of the food more expensive. Therefore, the food becomes expensive. Food itself is cheap. So if we can't deliver it to each other, because for whatever reason, let's not get into the reasons, but for whatever reason, if the world seems to be short, then we're going to have to bring the world to our own doorstep, aren't we? And we've got the internet to do it in communication styles, so how do we get the products here that we really need? Well, we've probably, most of us, luckily, if we're lucky, we've got water. So we've got that covered. You can build your own shelter, so you've got that covered. As long as you get heat and food, and you can get your food by growing it, by planting seeds. And the rain will take care of that. And the sun, yay, thanks for the sun. Praise the sun. They'll grow it for you. All you got to do is a bit of planning. So yeah, I'm trying to encourage that. I'm trying to say grow your own food, and guess what? That will be nice food. It'll be tasty. You'll know where it's been. You'll know it won't be some twisted seed or weird genetics turn into a goat next year. You'll know what it is. It'll be more tasty. It'll be yours. Yeah, you might pick a variety of cucumber with the skin's a bit more leathery and you didn't like it. Well, don't grow that one then. There's hundreds. Like I grew some strawberries somebody gave me. I was like, great, it was really nice. And then she said, them strawberries I gave you were dud. And I was like, why? They grew. She says, because other strawberries keep fruiting. Because this only does it like one time, like for like 3 weeks, and that's it. I was like, oh, I didn't know that. I didn't care. I got some strawberries. But now I know you can get multiple fruiting ones. I'm like, yeah. So even stuff like that, just a little bit of knowledge. I had no idea, not being a gardener, that you can get blueberry plants that will fruit and then go sleep for a bit and then fruit again. And then go sleep for a bit and then fruit again in the autumn. You're like, what? I didn't know that. I didn't know you get raspberries that fruited in the early sunshiny time and then one that fruited at the end of the sunshiny time. And I'm thinking, oh, well, so if I get a couple of the early ones and a couple of the late ones, I'll have raspberries all the way through. And if I get one of them blueberries that keeps coming back, I'll have blueberries all the way through. And if I get some of those strawberries that have multiple harvests, I'll have strawberries all the way through. I'll have fruit coming out my ears. Just by finding out about that. And then I say to Enoch, who likes gardening, and Buddy there, from the Trouble Minds Radio group in the Discord, he tells me about boysenberries, because I said, oh, you can get these crossberries of this and that. And he's like, yeah, boysenberries, mate, get them. So I'm looking into these hybrid berries and I'm finding this stuff out. And so it's already positive. So I'm trying to build this thing for like mental health reasons. And then sharing it with people. They started to give me ideas, learning about stuff. And now I found out about boysenberries, which are like a crossberry, supposed to be really nice. And then I found out about mulberry trees, which are like blackberry grape cross. So you get these really long ass blackberry grapey things. And the prolific fruiters, mulberries, but they're very delicate, so you can't transport them to sell them in shops. So that's why I don't get them, and that's what you make mulled wine with. It's supposed to be really nice. So, and they'll produce for hundreds of years, prolifically. I was like, oh my god, that sounds like an amazing tree. So, do you know what I'm saying? Just little bits of knowledge. That's why we've got to share stuff. Now, I've found out this basic stuff that's really useful. And other little basic tips. So I'm going to try and share them and then try and talk to the other allotment people this year and get some tips. I'm going to write a little book of tips from some of these seasoned veteran gardeners. You know what I'm saying? Lead by example. Got a camera, I'll start broadcasting from there and things like that. Get them involved. When the plot's looking nice, people will be wanting to be on it because it'll be pretty. So then I'll be able to encourage them to share stuff and be involved in the idea of podcasting, so they'll think about it, and then we can come promote this stuff. So that's going to be the plan for my sort of garden thing. I'll get some. I'll say it's a bit messy at the minute, so I don't really want to show it to you. Once I built my next phase, I'll demonstrate that. But yeah, anyway, just going to whack some music on for a sec, so it's prototype, whatever. Yes, I can stick some music on for a minute, make a quick drink, and then we'll have a quick look into. I'm going to explain. I'm going to have some guests coming up soon, but yeah. Anyway, music. What should we have? So some bumper music. Let's put this Galactic Federation one. I like this. All right then. Catch you in a few minutes. Exiled Minds podcast. Liam Martin. Just a quick Adlib today. And we'll do some explanations and bits coming up, and then we'll do some random news. We'll get on to Liam Martin, Exiled Minds podcast.
Pretty skeptical, but we both got weirded out by
Mighty Rohan
something that mentioned literally
heartbeats happening.
The Galactic Federation of Worlds like 2 weeks remote viewing guys, I know I keep bringing them up, but they just keep weirding me the hell out.
The Exiled Minds podcast. Famous Liam Martin. When you have like several names, then you're famous and the mighty. How can you beat that? The Exiled Minds podcast. The Exiled Minds podcast. Famous Liam Martin. The Mighty Rohan. The famous Exiled Minds podcast. How can you beat that?
What's interesting about this is with all the turmoil going on in 2020 and with the Tom DeLonge thing, this narrative that's starting to develop, lots of propaganda, all the kind of pieces are starting to fall into place. There's lots of like what to believe, you don't know. Balthazar, there's all this stuff going on. It's like, what do you believe? What do you believe? But if you look at our elites, they're acting freaking weird. They're definitely like meeting behind closed door, like they have like plans. And I wonder, do the elites, have they gotten a list of demands from these beings? The Galactic Federation worlds, are we in it? Are we not in it? Is this real? If it is, like, are we trying to get into it? And maybe the elites are getting this laundry list of demands. Or you need to have more control, centralized government, you can't have guns. A lot of the elites' behavior right now is just almost like desperate.
He claims there is a galactic federation, a group of advanced extraterrestrials holding the Galactic Federation. The Galactic Federation. There is a Galactic Federation.
Hey, here we are, back, Exile Minds podcast, with the Mighty Rohan, aka the famous Liam Martin. That's right, famous, so you ought to tell everybody, you know, a famous person, and then share the show. I've got a Discord thing, on this Discord server. I don't think I told people about it. I think I shared it one place. I forget, you know. That was another thing I wanted to mention about the show, by the way. I was wrangling whether or not to keep doing it, my reason why. And I didn't want to make it like my life to try and promote myself. Oh, follow me and send me money, donations, please. Because I find it hard. I got hang-ups with stuff. So I thought, and why do I do this show? Because I do want a future. I do want to retrain. I do want to do stuff, and I'm good at this, but. And you can make money doing it, and you can market it like crazy though, and it's not really my forte. I'm not good at marketing. I know people that are, but so they might help. But I'm rubbish at that stuff. I don't even remember to tell people I've got a show. I meet people all the time. I always forget to tell them. Right. So I think I'm just trying to do it for a service. You know what I mean? It'd be nice to be able to do it for a living, but I don't think I want to try and. It might take me some time to be able to do that. So I've decided I'm just going to do this show for the fun of it, and because I think it's important. I do. So I've decided that's. I didn't know my why before, so it was hard to just kind of stick to a schedule, and it was taking me ages to put shows together because I didn't know, like, I kind of couldn't put it together. So what's it all about? So yeah, so now it's a bit easier, sort of mentally, for some reason. So I'm thinking, yeah, just do it like that. I've got these other plans anyway. I don't really want to get into it too much, but some of my friends that I mentioned, we've got some plans that's coming up that if they pan out, they'll be epic. They'll be epic. And we'll be able to record it and then be able to announce it and show you all, and it'll be great, and it'll be a lovely story. And just to give you some kind of an idea, I've met somebody through, because of the pandemic situation and people are isolated. I've got to meet people on the internet, like-minded people, and keeps you sane, right? Yeah. So, one particular buddy, there's an opportunity there that he's got, that he's sitting on, that he can't really implement on his own. But he could implement it with one other person if it was the right kind of person. Right. And it seems like pie in the sky stuff. in the beginning when we first got talking about it from his perspective, but I know it's not. Right, and the way the timings worked out with the pandemic situation, it slowed things down and got a lot of things suspended. So my friend had to wait for something that would have, let him sort of move on with. So anyway, it basically works out that I'm gonna do my I'm going to America in the fall. I'm gonna meet my mate Jay in person, and it'll be really great. I'm gonna have a nice holiday or vacation, as I'll be calling it there. Lingo. So yeah, I love vacation in America, but I'm pretty sure on a tourist visa you can be there up to 3 months, and it's okay, from England to be there for up to 3 months. So hopefully, the way things are pan out, my man should be either get some good news about a building he's trying to get back. It's kind of someone's trying to take it off him, so that'll be great, and I'll be celebrating with him, or he won't get it back, but he'll then have the resources to do this other project that we've been thinking on. So either way, it would be a nice little story, a little holiday in America. We'll try and do a bit of a tour, something if we could. There's more money in it, but yeah, see if that works out. So there might be something really epic for next year that we'll be able to reveal, but that's a long-term project. I'll remind you close to the time if it's starting to look like it's panning out, which we'll know about this time next year. Well, perhaps just before Christmas next year. But yeah, there's some big plans on my mate Jay. But I'm definitely going to America, so I want to take the show there. I'm on the fitness drive because we had this plan for the show to. I'm in England. There's a lot of sacred sites here. It's very old. Some American listeners from Fringe FM and connected, the show fans I've got, I guess, they've talked about. Catalina mentioned if I'd been to certain Glastonbury and Stonehenge and stuff, and I'd not been. I've been to these places, but then England's not that big, and I've got a bicycle and camping stuff. So I thought, you know what, I could actually for free, technically, for not much money, could cycle to these places. Take time, cycle to these places. It could take a week to sort of get there and come back. So I was thinking that's something that'd be really great to just do. Then I can say to Kat, and I thought then I could film it. They've got the technology these days. Take a little solar panel, and then I'd be charging things up, so it'd be viable to take cameras or a little notebook, so you can do a little live thing there. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking I could actually go. I could do that. Actually, that could possibly, be a doable thing to go to sacred sites around Britain and do a documentary about it. Make it a bit of a series. Maybe go to a dozen of them. And cycle down there, get there under your own power. So if I do it under my own steam, then it's like showing people, hey, look what you can do. You know what I mean? That we've been around here a long time. We've been on planet Earth a long time. We're fine. We can handle ourselves on our own. So I just thought it'd be a fun thing for me to do. Help me on my fitness drive. It'd be a cool thing for the show. Cool thing to show people. Be a cool thing to give to Catalina. So if you can't go and you're in America, I'll go for you and show you. Right? Yeah, why not? And that gave me some other ideas as well. So yeah, I'm going to try and do it. I'm going to try and get fit. Well, I'm going to be getting fit this year. I'm trying, and I'll cut down on the smoking, really. So we're doing that this year. Getting fit. And then with a view to start going to some sacred sites. There's some of the closer ones that I'll go to start with, and I'll try and get further and further afield. So because I'm kind of in the middle of the country, so at least that, I ain't gotta go like all the way from Scotland right down to Glastonbury, because that'd be crazy. Well, hey, but I'm gonna go to Scotland hopefully, because I've got to Giant's Causeway at least. So we'll be doing that for this show. So build a studio. But that might not end up happening until next year, but we'll see what happens. Or I might hold that off because there's a plot become available on the end of mine. And I've been asking the last couple of years if we're going to have an extra one. And I say, no, we'll wait and see if people want them, give everyone a chance. So if they keep getting overlooked 2 or 3 years in a row, they might give me one next year and a spare one. And so if I have one on the end of mine, I'll have a really long run. And that's already got a brick structure there. It needs repairing. But it's already I'm halfway there, aren't I? if I can get that one. So I might wait on the studio this year to see if I can get that. I might quiz them about it, see if they're definitely going to offer it me next year if nobody takes it. Then I'll know this year whether or not somebody has it, whether or not I need to build one on my plot or wait. And you save the bricks to finish, to, do it really nice. So we're going to have a studio, hopefully by the end of the year. But if not, then definitely next after this season, come the winter, and the growing stuff's done, they'll know then if they're going to let me have it. So it might be a case of we'll have to hold off the studio and then start the build in the winter rather than do it in the summer where it'd be nice. It depends, but yeah, we're going to have a studio for next year. Well, I've been to America for them, do some filming for that. Hopefully, the epic project will come off, and then that might help me out to be able to do some more stuff and do this sunken greenhouse idea. Because if I can help my mate get this project done that I'm pushing him to do, because I see the potentiality and I know we can do it. And if he does it, it will make his life just so much easier for the rest of his life. So, that's a good thing. So yeah, and then it will probably help me out back to advise me on how to get these sunken greenhouses built and stuff, because we'll plan it out in person while we're there, you see, and I'll come back in the summer and do it. So yeah, so hopefully come the summer next year, we'll have 2 plots for the garden, for the studio. We'll have lots more filming. We'll have the allotment channel up, and the studio. It should be nice. It should be nice. We'll get the cycling done, so we'll have a documentary coming up, a bit of a series on sacred sites, and learn to do some magic there. I'm going to incorporate alchemy and magic on my allotment plot, which sounds, a bit woo-woo, but no, I'm going to do the science, and I'm going to demonstrate it. I'm going to record it. I'm going to show you. It's not lightning bolts coming out your fingers stuff. It's simple stuff. And I understand why people think, oh, why just arranging branches like this? Why put a feather in a piece of corn and bury it? Why shove a copper pipe in the ground and plant on top of it? Yeah? Why, if you bleed, instead of putting a plaster on it, run over to a plant? Why are you doing that? Seems a bit weird giving plants human blood. But, little tips like that, they like human blood, by the way, plants. They love it. Anyway, so yeah, there's little tips. I'm going to do some alchemy on that stuff. And the way I arrange planters, I can arrange them in sacred geometry shapes and things like that. You can use copper tools, so you're not leaving trace elements of iron and things like that. They're expensive. Copper spade, like $300, £250, I reckon. But that'd be the long-term best thing. But anyway, yeah. So we'll do this. We'll have a studio. We'll do the cycling. We'll get around the country. You can go on a train in England with a bicycle. So if we get a difficult bit. So yeah, we'll definitely get some sacred sites this year. Do a documentary on that. We're going to get some more guests on the show as well. I'm thinking we'll try and get one a month. I did interview some people, actually. I did interview the Dreaming Jaguar guys. But I had a bit of a screw up with technical stuff. And they were sat in a van out in a field in the middle of winter. They did some work, like contractor guys, among other things. There's Psychonaut Explorers of DMT. They've done they took part in dimethyltryptamine studies. They've researched it a lot. They're Intrepid Explorers, Justin and Paul, Dream Jaguars. Yeah, go and check them out. I did a bit of an interview with them. It's like it kind of went a bit wrong, and they were in a freezing cold van, and they can't put the heaters on because I'm trying to do an interview. So but managed to get a good 40 minutes. But a lot of it is the intro chit chat, and then I'm trying to get this music license thing sorted out for it. So I haven't been able to put that out yet, and I want to double check with them, got permission to release it, or if I want to do it again or whatever, whatever. So yeah, but we've got, so that'll end up being one, the Dreaming Jaguars, or if not, I might just tell you about them, do a show if I can't use the footage or whatever, because it might have gone bad. I kind of screwed it up because I was, learning. But if that's no good, if the footage ain't any good, then I'll just tell you about them, and I'll do a DMT show. We'll do a psychedelic show, which we'll probably end up talking about tomorrow, because I've got a special guest tomorrow. There's a friend of mine, Alejandra. She's going to come on tomorrow, And I had a show planned. I wanted to talk about astrotheology, which is why I planted a seed earlier, mentioning astrology and Jupiter. And the Saturn returns. There's a bit of a thing in astrology where, you know, the darkness comes for you. Sometimes your darkness comes back and bites you on the ass, like Dark Knight, the Soul stuff, you know. But I was saying there that in some ways it feels like it's more than that. It's not just your traumas and you. Sometimes it feels external, like something's being pushed. I don't know. But then that day Mike happened to do a show about demonic attack when you're traumatized, you know what I'm saying? So that's probably worth a show from my perspective to look at that. But anyway, that's another one. But friend tomorrow, Alejandra, astrotheology show I had planned that I've been working on. And I think she'll love it as a topic. And I think you'll love it as a topic. And it kind of segues off of the back of the Santa Claus and the mushroom and the Kundalini. As a bit of a show I did before Christmas. And so that goes on to astrotheology and why that's sort of all takes it out a bit more. That was more the internal stuff, and then the astrotheology is like more the external and the stars stuff. So the as above, so below. So that one I did for Christmas was like the so below bit. So tomorrow we're going to do the as above part with my friend Alejandra's going to pop on. She'll be on her lunch break for work, so because he's in Canada. So fortunate to get her. So tomorrow, Alejandra, Exiled Minds podcast. It should still be at the proper scheduled time at 10 p.m. GMT. Eastern, it will be 5 p.m. and Pacific time, it will be 2 p.m. So yeah, so a lunch break sort of thing. So Pacific. So yeah, so get Alejandra on tomorrow. Do some astrotheology, look at the stars, and then we'll do the DMT show with the Dreamy Jaguar stuff, because it kind of carries on at that. Because once you know a bit about astrotheology, then the DMT show is a little bit more impactful, because you know more about why that matters a bit more and why it's weird that that's there, and you're like, oh crap, this seems big. So yeah, that's another thing as well. I kind of like the shows to connect to each other a little bit in some way. Like there's a bit of continuity along the timeline if you watch them. To remember, I think it's just a natural thing I like, because I used to listen to a guy on the radio in Britain. Used to one of the famous BBC guys called John Peel. And he was well respected. People used to call him the Emperor. Yeah, I used to be like, oh yeah, nice one. But it's because he was famously nice. Famously a really nice, caring, thoughtful person. And it was just such a popular, he had a great radio voice. He used to play all kinds of eclectic music and really hip, cool music as well. So, it's just, yeah, John Peel was a great guy. And he had a beard, and he hated beards, which is a funny one. He just had bad skin, so he couldn't shave. Like, sensitive. But funny story. But yeah, John Peel, the Emperor, he used to write his shows, I mention him because every single track he played, every show, all connected to each other. And he timed them all out like a proper pro, so they'd fit for the exact amount of showtime. So if he had a record, a ragga record by Beanie Man on Greensleeves Records, then he might play a punk track where the punk people are singing a song, but they're kind of playing it in the style of the Greensleeves. So the Greensleeves record label then carries on to someone doing Greensleeves as a punk track, and that might be on Magic Beanbag Records. Notice how Magic Beanbag Records came after Beanie Man. Right? So then the next track might be by the Beanbags. Yeah? And it might be called, Golden Honey. Right? So the next track will be, on Golden Harvest record label or something like that. It'll connect everyone to make sure that there's some association with each track. But it means that the music could be, who knows what. You might have some soul track, a drum and bass track that is son Tom's Tip. He used to put his drum and bass tracks out with big bass lines and that. Yeah, so you get a punk track, a soul track, you play a track by The Fall, then some hard techno. On the BBC, John Peel, in the daytime as well, no less, on a Saturday sometimes. Anyway, Jump Hill. So yeah, I like to connect these shows together. So the Santa Claus show, watch that, because Santa Claus, mushroom, there's an association, but it goes deeper. And it goes into Kundalini. I was supposed to be doing a Kundalini show with Jess Rogue, but I had to sort of cancel and reschedule. So it was going to segue into that. Then we've got the astrotheology coming up, because it segues into the DMT stuff, you know. And then after that, because I want to get more guests in, I'm looking at doing a mind control one, because Alejandra's a listener and a friend, and I got a listener friend. There's a guy called Matt who's got a book. It talks a lot about the MK Ultra stuff and mind control, and I've not read it yet, and it's a monster big book. But I'm going to get that guy to come and have a chat about his book, so it'll be another listener friend. But I'm thinking then I might try and get one of these alleged super soldier people on, called Robert Duncan O'Finian. So then we'll have a deep dive, me and Matt, with what he's researched in a very extensive book. You know, we'll have a discussion of that, and then once we've prefaced that, maybe do a different show, and then get Robert Duncan O'Finian on pretty soon after, just then see what he's saying about it, because something resonated. A lot of things resonated with what he said and the way he said and the way he comes across, to make me think that he's legit, at least to an extent. I don't know, but he's an interesting character. So yeah, I think if I can come on, it might not, you know, people might not want to do this stuff. He might be too big for me, or he might not. He seems like a cool guy, so I thought I might check out Robert Duncan O'Finian and see if we can get him on. But yeah, we're going for, we'll get a few people on. Hopefully once a month, get the studio built, see how that goes. We'll do the cycling around the country, go to the sacred sites, come to America. If we can pull this stuff off with Jay, oh wow. You'll all be inspired, no matter, even if you hate this show and you're a troll. If we can pull this off, you'll be like, that is fair enough. Even though I don't like you, that's cool. It'll be one of them, innit? You can still do it. We can do it behind a screen, especially, can't we? Because yeah, I hate you, but that's a great hat. Yeah, funny. Anyway, hour long shows. When did I start? About 20 past, I think. Oh my god, I just talked. It's like just flew past. I didn't even have anything planned at all. I was gonna go on the news, wasn't I? And just have a quick news one. I just talk, wasn't I? All right, let's see what's on the news. I haven't done any news for ages. Let's type news. News. Bring me news. News. What's in the news? Right, what have I got? What's Google pushing on me? Milton Keynes, 4-year-old girl killed in dog attack straight away. That's bad. That's pretty bad. That's pretty bad, a dog attack, man. That's why I'm looking. I don't want to. That's very rare, though. Extremely rare, especially in this country. It's like it's not happening. That's not happening. That's so rare. So rare in this country. That's pretty bad. Front and center. So this is like the first time I'm looking at the news since trying not to look at the news, even though I've been involved in the news for 2 years anyway. Trying not to see negative stuff. You know, it's that. And you get that. Oh, man. Front and center. School strikes in Wales. Schools affected. Why teachers are striking. I haven't been looking at local news as well either, but that's another thing going to change. I'm going to start doing a news show, I think, on a Monday, probably in the morning, or maybe one on a Friday, at the normal show time, whatever, to round up for the week. Yeah, I think I need to start looking at news for myself. I want to stay on touch with the world and see what's going on and stay on top of things, be up to date for the show as well. And also, if I broadcast, and as American listeners, I'll be broadcasting from the future. News from the future. Right? That's right. If you're on the West Coast, man, I can give you 8 hours ahead. Think about it. 8 hours in the future. A bit like that film with Nicolas Cage, innit? You can see ahead of time for a bit. Anyway. But it is true, though. If you send a package to Japan, backwards around the world, it gets there the day before. What? Anywho, news. What we got in the news then? So that's tragic. I'm not going to jump on that story. I just wanted to have an overview just to see what's kind of in there. I haven't been looking, and it's supposed to be an informative show. So what's the other one then? Wales, school teacher strikes. Well, the NHS, they're striking as well. So, and let me tell you, the NHS, they're doing a lot of strikes and medical stuff, and the NHS as a system has been failing more and more every year for decades. It's literally worse service than it was 50 years ago. I'm not just like moaning. As Dr. Vernon Coleman explains that he became a doctor 50 years ago and used to get midwives, used to get people come at the weekends, the doctors came to your house, you got this, you got that. It has totally changed. Gone worse, right? So in that context, you might say, well, how would a staff striking if they're doing a rubbish job? But it's not. That's not what it is. I ain't even read this. I already know. The reason why it's always about pay, because the things like the NHS, 200 billion a year at this point, 70 million people in England. You could divide that. Everyone will get a couple of grand a year. Get your own top quality private healthcare. It's not justifiable anymore, especially after the last couple of years, right? And the staff don't get paid enough. The students don't. They have to work for free to start with, right? For 200 hours, I think it is. Great. You can start, but we're not going to pay you. Yeah, we know you qualify, but we need to make sure you qualify for 200 hours. For 200 clinical hours before they'll pay you. Psychotherapists, I think it's 100 clinical hours. Although you could do that for volunteering over time, but when you're nursing and doctor, you got to learn the medical stuff, and then you need a job. Because you're qualified enough to earn a job, and you've got all these fees to pay, and so guess what? You need a job now. Or you're homeless as soon as you leave uni. Kind of. So it's a bit like that, isn't it? It's like, ooh. But you got to work for 200 hours for free before. So you basically got to go straight in there, straight into a job and work your ass off and do all the hours God sends. To start with. So they get a free load of labour out of here. And there's no need for it. And if the system is worse than it was 50 years ago, how are the staff not getting paid enough? How do stupid things like that happen? How are they on strike? Because it's a cash cow, skimming money off, I would propose. It's been known, people have talked about this for decades in this country. So yeah, strikes. NHS are on strike, teachers are on strike. Good. I think the teachers should set their own systems up where they can help parents to homeschool. Well, we just won't have a government-run schooling system. How about that? Sunak tries to remain above the fray as public sector strikes continue. More strikes? Yeah, because people are annoyed. Police speak to potential key witnesses in search for missing dog. Okay, whatever. It just reminded me of a police story, actually. Let's see if Nottingham Evening Post. Nottingham. Police. I think it said they fired 31 officers in the last year or 2 years. Oh, it's 32. Look, yeah, that's all up. Sorry, let's fade that in. Yeah, so Nottingham. That's where I live, Nottinghamshire. Robin Hood and all that. Here we go. Let's zoom that in for the video. Listeners, look. I'll read it for the listeners, video viewers, not listeners. The viewers can see on there. Yeah, Nottinghamshire Police dismissed 32 officers in the last 2 years. Misconduct hearings. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is off the back of a top Metropolitan Police officer recently being found to be a serial rapist. And I remember maybe about 5 years ago. Or, no, I bet it's over 5 years now. But yeah, there was an Asian police officer, Desai, I think his name was, Desai, that was the head of the black police officers, group thing, right? Although he's Asian, not black, but yeah, okay. He was the chief of that for racial stuff. Turns out to be a massively racist police officer. Got fired. Yeah? It's them people. I literally, I can't prove this, but I used to support Notts County, go to football matches with a guy called Dippy, He's got a really long Pakistani name, so everyone just calls him Dippy. It's not a derogatory thing, but Dippy, and he had a mate. It's a tall, white, looks like an old school copper, a big guy in that, and because he was an old police chief. He says throughout his career, over 30 years, he says, I think about 70% of the police in Nottingham are corrupt. I was like, what? I've kind of thought that jokingly sometimes. But okay, straight from the horse's mouth, that's just one guy's experience with one constabulary. But kind of seems like a bit of a theme, and it should be a theme because our police, at least, aren't public servants. They're supposed to be. We get told they are, but no, they're enforcers for the crown. That's why they've got a crown on the top of the logo. And it's against the law in our country for police officers to have handcuffs. It's against the law for them to have pepper spray, batons. They're not allowed any armament. It's against the law. I think it's some law like the Kingfisher or Sandhurst something or whatever. But yeah, they're not allowed to have this stuff. They're supposed to be keepers of the peace. They're not supposed to have any equipment to restrain people and hurt people with. They're allowed radio, that's it. Allowed communication, that's it. I don't think they're even allowed body armor. It's armor. They're not allowed armaments. Right. They're supposed to keep the peace. And I think only if there's an active assault, if there's harm done, common law, that's when they can intervene. Pretty sure. We'll double check it, but I know they're not allowed weapons. And if they're public servants, why is the crown at the top of the logo? And why are they terrified of investigating politicians? How many politicians have you seen go to prison recently? You'd think that would have gone up loads, wouldn't you? Anyway, I'm going to get on my high horse. Oh, check the clock. Good job in check the clock. Saved by the bell. Because there's 2 minutes left to make it an hour, and that's when the bell will usually go off to say it's commercial time. Put your commercials on. Put your commercials on. So I'm going to end the show instead and put some music so they can put the commercials on. But yeah, check stuff out. Yeah, police officers. Turns out not perfect, and it turns out although we shouldn't, I don't know if we should be defunding the police or this, that, and the other and blaming them for everything. Nah, I don't think we should be blaming people. It's not the police, is it? Police got crappy training. Simple. Like the teachers. They've all got crappy training and funding. They've all got their hands tied. We're all living under the boot of oppression. Don't you worry. That's equality. Anyway, Astrotheology show with Alejandra tomorrow. I like her. She's cool. And I had a chance to talk to her live for a while. She's usually like chess. Send her a message, she sends them one, or like send her a voice note or a couple, like chat. It'd be nice to be live. So yeah. What other news shows we got? Let's blast through them real quick. I'll sign off in a minute. Unique 2 dependent unearthed in UK by a metal detecting enthusiast. Sweet. Yeah, well, we want to find Tataria, don't we? Golden to El Dorado or something. Yeah, it's not too great. Britain's 12 story library extension. Blah, 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 blah. Sky News. Let's click the actual news cycle bit. What do you want to push on me today? George Santos to step down. Across the House Committee. Blah, blah, blah. UK economy to shrink. It's already shrunk like a mofo. When I was a youth in the 80s, you're looking at America wrestling and that. You used to get $200 for every £100, didn't it? So it was like, your money's worth double. And now it's nearly the same. That's how bad it is. Right? And we're not even connected to Europe. We kept the pound so we wouldn't suffer if Europe went bad. So has the pound got weak all of a sudden when it was always strong and it's been around forever? Because of people like George Soros and people like people trying to mess with us, because the EU want to punish Britain for saying, no, we're not doing it. We're not doing it anymore. I'm telling you, it's punishment. It is absolutely punishment. These people are insidious. Anyway, I better sign off because I can't help myself. Yeah, Exiled Minds podcast, Liam Martin. I'm trying to, I will be sticking to the schedule. Got my wife sorted out. Got loads of plans coming up. Just thought I'd come and let you know. And I'll start doing a news show probably on a Monday or Friday, probably on a Friday actually. So yeah, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, regular show. Might do a new show Friday. Occasionally, it might be a bonus weekend thing. So yeah, and get cooking, getting good on the music as well. Well, I'm gonna get good on the music. I decided to commit to actually learning properly. So, and guitaring as well, and maybe drums. But we'll see. Anyway, let's get an outro track on. Guess where that will be? It will be in the folder that says music, show music, and then probably outros. I would have thought. Let's have a look in there. Yeah, there we go. Twinkly one. This is one where I played the piano. It's a couple of notes are a bit off, off time, but it's okay. Join us tomorrow. Astrotheology show with Alejandro. I think you'll like her. Look at the stars. See what they mean. See what they mean to us. See how our body works. Let's learn our operating system. Yeah. And steer our own vehicle. And let's steer the planetary vehicle as well.